Courage,
courage,
my friend,
you do not go alone.
we will
go
with you,
and sing your spirit home.
hold on,
My friend, you do not hold alone.
we will
hold
with you,
and sing your spirit home.
Patience, my friend,
you do not wait alone.
we will wait with you,
and sing your spirit home.
be strong,
My
my friend,
you do not go alone.
we will
go
with you,
and sing your spirit home.
and sing out, my friend, 'cause
you do not sing alone.
we will
Sing
with you,
and sing your spirit home.
courage, my friend,
you do not go alone.
we will
go
with you,
and sing your spirit home.
and courage, my friend,
you do not go alone.
we will go with you,
and sing your spirit home.
That was so beautiful. Thank you so much to the children's choirs and to all who've been directing and working with the children's choirs. That was absolutely stunning. Wow. Good morning and welcome this morning, this day, and to this opportunity to worship together at the Cedar Lane Unitarian Universalist Church online. I am the Reverend Katie Romano Griffin. My pronouns are she or Asia. I'm one of the ministers serving this religious community with the Reverend Abi Janamanchi, the Reverend Archine Turner, and Dana Edwards, Cedar Lane's intern minister. Please know that whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are joining us from, whatever your beliefs, gender identity and expression, immigration status, political views, or life circumstance, we welcome you to worship today. This religious community is a place where we come to learn more about being human in this world at this time. We believe in life before death and supporting one another on life's journey as we strive to live lives of hope, integrity, and service in the service of a life larger than our own. Special welcome to those who are joining us for the first time today. I hope you will let us know in the chat and really appreciate you taking the chance to spend your morning with the Cedar Lane community today. If you're new or feel new, you're invited to complete the newcomer form that will be linked in the chat. You're also invited to attend our Sunday morning Seekers classes, which happen before service. There's some information in the chat on reaching out to Nicole Kazi at nkazi@cedarlane.org if you have more questions. Today at 2 p.m. via Zoom, the congregation is welcome to attend a special time of blessing for Doña Rosa and the children as they begin to prepare to move. While we still have a ways as we work towards asylum, this is a milestone, and we hope that you will come and celebrate. I also hope that you will join me in the chat by welcoming the Reverend David Miller back to the Cedar Lane pulpit today. Reverend David is the senior minister of one of our Potomac Partnership congregations, the UU Congregation of Fairfax. Prior to being called to UUCF in 2015, Rev David served a congregation in Southern California. He's an avid sports fan, go Cubs, and his spouse, the Reverend Alice King, serves one of our sibling congregations in Leesburg, Virginia. What a joy and a blessing it is to have Reverend David with us today, and I hope you'll give him a warm Cedar Lane welcome. Our pastoral visitors extension of the ministry team, and they're available in the chat today to support you. Know that you can always call the pastoral visitor line as well at 301-493-8300 extension 208 and leave a message for the on-call pastoral visitor. Starting Thursday, October 22nd at 7 p.m., Reverend Abi and I will be offering a 3-session series on Parker Palmer's Healing the Heart of Democracy. This is a timely and courageous, practical work that explores 5 habits of the heart that can help us restore democracy's foundations as we nurture them in ourselves and in each other. I hope you will look for the registration link in the chat and also in the emails. And lastly, if you're enjoying these services, please be sure to like this video or click the subscribe bell and make sure that you get all of the goodness that comes from our YouTube channel. I also invite you to check out the Let's Get Through This playlist that was crowdsourced by members, friends, and fans. We're going to put that link in the chat for you too. So now, with great rejoicing for this time of being together, I hope you will say hello to your neighbors in the chat. Today we share in a blessing for losers, risk takers, all failures, far and wide. Blessed are they who fall in the mud, who jump with gusto and rip the pants, who skin the elbows and bruise the ego, for they shall know the sweetness of risk. Blessed are they who make giant mistakes, whose intentions are good, but impact has injured, who know the hot sense of regret and ask for mercy, for their hearts will know the gift of forgiveness. Blessed are they who've seen a D or an F or a C or any letter less than perfect, who are painfully familiar with the red pen and the labels of less than, for they know the wisdom of the imperfect. Blessed are they who try again, who dust off, who wash up, who extend the wish for peace, who return to sites of failure, who are dogged in their pursuit, for they will discover the secret to dreams. Blessed are they who refuse to listen to the naysayers, for their hearts will be houses for hope. Blessed are they who see beyond the surface of another, for they will be able to delight in the gift of compassion. Blessed are they who stop running the race to help a fellow traveler, who pick up the fallen, who stop for injured life, for they shall know the kindness of strangers. Blessed are they who wildly, boldly abandon winning, for they shall know the path of justice. Come, let us worship.
Good morning. I'm Jared Wilson, the worship associate for today's service. My pronouns are he, him. I am lighting my chalice in Silver Spring. As I read our chalice lighting words, I invite you to share in the chat where you are lighting your chalice from. Today's words are "Do Not Be Alone Right Now" by Karen G. Johnston. Do not be alone right now. Gather together. Gathering together grows courage in ourselves and in others who see the numbers swelling. It is a small thing, but right now it is an important thing. Great sources of wisdom remind us, just because you cannot stem the tide of all hate, it is still right to do the thing you can do. These things add up. Your one thing and my one thing, his one thing and their one thing and her one thing, together it becomes a big thing. Do not be alone right now. Any liberation, all liberation, is collective liberation. My freedom is bound with yours, and yours with mine, inextricably. As we light our chalice, let us together cast our lots doing this big thing, bending the moral arc of the universe towards justice.
It's a joyful moment in the life of our church when someone chooses to support a Unitarian Universalist church by becoming a member, by agreeing to share their gifts of time, talent, and treasure in support of the hope that together we can build a more just, more loving world while also holding and supporting each other through community. These new members we're celebrating have taken different paths to membership. Some have known about Unitarian Universalism. Others have been UUs for a time, and then others are completely new. Some have attended our Seeker series, met with the minister, and deepened their connection to community by joining a Soul Matters group or serving on a ministry team. And still others may have only met us online, connected with the minister, and attended online visitor Zoom. Today, we celebrate these members and the many paths that have brought them to membership in our community.
I am Nicole Causey, Coordinator for Membership and Communications.
I'm Diane Yonges, Team Lead of the Membership Team. It's with great joy that I share with you the names of our new Cedar Lane members. Angela Long, Cooper Lee Kidd, Kristen Alter, and Sarah Call, so that we can welcome you. Some of our new members find resonance in both UU and in their personal principles, including to care for the earth and all that inhabit her. Some engage with spirituality through kindness, caregiving, treating people with respect, social justice, or the eclectic spirituality of UU values. Our new members find the holy in many different places, through relationships and caregiving with their families, with their friends, children, and pets, through connections with Mother Nature, through small fleeting moments of calm, meditating with the gods, and by looking within. Our new members are excited to become connected with a loving and engaged community that is intelligent and committed to justice and equity. Some new members are also excited to grow their spirituality in community.
I'm Todd Chernikoff, President of the Board of Trustees of Cedar Lane Unitarian Universalist Church, and it was with great joy that I bid you welcome this evening to our congregation.
The work of our congregation is to provide hospitality and care within our walls and beyond them, to work with the democratic process to build a more just world for each other and the world. We enthusiastically welcome new members. It's also a time for congregants who have been members for a long time to renew the promises and commitment that we've made to each other as members of this community. So I hope that you will all rejoice with us and pledge again to rejoice in times of happiness, to be prepared to grieve with all of us in times of sorrow, and to share in all the blessings of our free faith. Let us close our time together in this ritual with the words of Theodore Parker. Be ours a religion, which like sunshine goes everywhere. Its temple, all space. Its shrine, the good heart. Its creed, all truth. Its ritual, works of love. Its profession of faith, divine living. Welcome, new members.
We come from the fire, living in the fire.
When You Are Brave by Pat Zietlow Miller. Some days when everything around you seems scary, you have to be brave. Brave as a bird that steps from its nest, hoping to soar through the sky. Brave as a dog that wanders for miles, searching for one well-known light. Brave as a caterpillar that builds a bed, wondering when it will wake. Because some days are full of things you'd rather not do. Like plunging into a pool all by yourself, hoping you'll swim and not sink. Or standing alone in front of a crowd, searching for one friendly face. Or boarding the bus and riding to school, wondering what lies ahead. At times like these, the world can seem too big, too loud, too hard, too much. While you feel too small, too quiet, too tired, not enough. On those days, look deep inside to find the courage you need. It might be hidden away, but if you close your eyes and breathe, you'll see it shining its light in the dark, warm, steady, safe. Your light might be small to start, just a spark, but you can turn it into a flame. Picture it in your mind. Then imagine it becoming bigger and bolder. You can make your courage so big it brightens your heart, fills your fingers, and flows to your toes. Think about what you're good at, something you love, or someone who loves you. No one else will see it, but you'll know you glow. And you'll know you are ready. No matter how deep the water, how loud the crowd, how hard the ride, or how much there is to do, you might struggle, you might succeed, people might clap or laugh or not notice at all. No matter what happens, you'll be all right. Because the next time life seems scary or you start something new, you can remember when you were brave. And then you can stand straight and walk tall, knowing you're as brave as a bird, a dog, and a caterpillar, as brave as you. The end.
Each Sunday, we give and receive an offering to support the promise and the practice of our UU faith. The offering is a visible symbol of our commitment and our covenant to our faith, to our religious community, to each other, and to the world. Our offering reminds us that our congregation belongs to us, to each of us individually, as well as to the whole of us. It is a weekly embodiment of the idea that a group working together for love and justice is exponentially more powerful than any one individual. You can give by the electronic means of our modern era, text, online giving, QR code, or PayPal, or by mailing a check to the church. Our offering to sustain the mission and ministry of Cedar Lane will now be given and gratefully received. Thank you for your generosity.
A flame is burning.
With gratitude in our hearts for our sibling congregation, UUCF, and the many directors of music ministry that were featured in that song, sharing their gifts, let us center ourselves in this moment, inviting our minds, our bodies, and our spirits into this space made sacred by our presence and the presence of the holy in which we live, move, and have our being. In this sanctuary of caring that connects us all across space and time, will you please breathe with me as we hold in our hearts those for whom parenting is a primary spiritual practice, those for whom having a child in school has become a primary focus, having to set aside work, having to set aside other things in the home in order to focus on our children while also navigating the many challenges that come with life. We hold you in our hearts. Let us hold in our hearts those who are mourning a loss, those who live with grief or chronic pain, with illnesses seen and unseen, those with mental illness or addictions, those who have suffered abuse or injustice, those who have experienced job loss, are facing financial or food insecurity. We hold you in our hearts. We also celebrate in this community, and in the spirit of celebration, I invite you to rejoice with me as we celebrate the belated birthday of Kay Scott, who turned 103 just a couple of weeks ago. Kay was with us at coffee hour after last week's service. It was great to catch up with her. Please wish her a happy birthday. And our joy and our caring also extends beyond the Cedar Lane community of members, friends, and fans to those whose lives are lost and impacted by violence, calamities, and the COVID-19 pandemic, both in our nation and the world. Holding them, holding all the joys and sorrows we bring to this space, let us join our hearts in prayer or reflection. Spirit of life and love, Holy One of many names, ignite or strengthen that flame of courage within us. Let it warm us. Let it warm those near us. And may it give us the strength and the courage to create justice, to create peace and vibrant lives of joy for all. May it be so. Amen, and blessed be.
Good morning. What a joy it is to be with you this morning. I'm so grateful to join you in worship today. As so many of us have done or tried not to do lately, actually, I was browsing social media one day and I saw a quote that a colleague posted about something one of his lay leaders said in response to something that was happening at their congregation, something that some others thought might be dangerous. And he said, "Courage can't exist without danger." It really struck a nerve with me, especially in these days where there has been so much talk and emphasis on risks to our physical safety and risk to our emotional well-being. So of course, like a good UU minister, I went to the dictionary. Sometimes I think the dictionary is our lectionary. And if you don't know what lectionary is, go to the dictionary. Anyway, I looked up both risk and courage. Risk, defined as a verb, says to expose to hazard or danger. Courage, on the other hand, as defined, says mental or moral strength to venture, persevere, and withstand danger, fear, or difficulty. These are certainly two different things. There are always risks in life. Every time you get into a car, you take a risk. Usually it's a low risk, depending on who's driving, which is a couple's conversation for another day. But many or most things we do in this world have elements of risk to them. Some small, some great. There are some things that have always seemed like very small risks that during these pandemic days take on a whole new significance, like going to the grocery store, or eating dinner out, or going to a movie, or perhaps holding a rally without masks and no social distancing. The list of what feels risky right now has grown substantially since March. But just because I make a decision to go sit on the patio of a restaurant and eat a meal prepared and served by someone other than myself or my spouse doesn't mean I'm being courageous. Yes, I still may be facing danger, but I would not call myself courageous because I can't stand one more meal at my house and I'm risking the sanitation procedures of potbellies to feed me and keep me safe. Maybe it would be a good thing to split these things into what I will call level 1 danger and level 2 danger. Level 1 danger is what I just described. Level 1 danger is the danger that comes from calculating your comfort about certain risks and how your decisions could impact your health and safety. Level 2 danger seems to be more significant and implies a serious nod to the concept of courage, or mental or moral strength to venture, persevere, and withstand danger, fear, or difficulty. Let me break this down a little bit because what I'd like to focus on is moral strength. And in this community, moral strength is about what our faith tradition teaches, calls us to, and asks us to practice. A couple of years ago at UUCF, we made a decision to hang a banner outside of our congregation that, among other things, had the words Black Lives Matter on it. This was not an easy decision or process. There were many different feelings about the purpose and impact of such an action. Without revisiting all the issues associated, one specific fear expressed was the worry that this would make us a target of vandalism or some sort of violence. It is and was a serious concern. I actually was the minister of a congregation in the San Diego area that was the target of religious hate speech vandalism, and I can tell you it was not fun. It was a substantial violation of our community, of decency, and our sense of safety and security. It was also a reminder that what we're doing in the community and as a religious organization was important. When we hung our UUCF banner, I really didn't want to make it about marketing or make the focus of any vandalism be about our congregation. When we hung that banner, the assumption so often was we wanted the other side to understand the importance of the concept or the words. We wanted to stake our claim in the community. But what was always more important to me is that when we hung that banner, that people in our congregation and in the broader community under siege for centuries, and more specifically threatened and targeted by the current people in power, would know that they could find a safe and brave space in our congregation. That this congregation was saying to the world, we have a moral calling to practice what we so often preach. That we will help ourselves live our values as we display mental or moral strength to venture, persevere, and withstand danger, fear, or difficulty, whether vandalism, violence, or threats. Doing this can and often is frightening. Taking any step out on a limb can bring about substantial discomfort. I have been on the end of anonymous threats of violence, and I will tell you that also is not very fun. And yet those who've been on the receiving end of vandalism, violence, or threats because of the color of their skin or their homeland of origin, or whom they love, or their gender identity have been dealing with this for so much longer and with so much more severe consequences so far than hanging a banner outside of our congregation. I was on a call last week with almost 200 ministers from around the country talking about how to prepare their congregations for any further social and political upheaval, especially around the potential unrest around our elections. On that call, a couple of ministers presented. They were from congregations from Arizona on the border, dealing with ICE raids on humanitarian efforts. They were from Rochester, New York, where their congregation being a place of safety and medical attention for protesters in the midst of the protest in that city. And in the past few weeks, I've also been following the incredible situation happening at the Unitarian Universalist congregation in Louisville, which on more than one occasion sheltered protesters from the police as the police surrounded the congregation in the midst of the uprising around the murder of Breonna Taylor. The circumstances of their geography and their communities have placed these three congregations in the middle of things that we have been reading about in the news for months. And the potential risk and consequences go farther beyond what is safe or not to than even going to a movie or putting up a banner. Whether you agree or disagree with their decisions, their actions in these congregations or their interpretation of how this faith is calling on us to be fully present in this world, you cannot doubt their courage. And you cannot deny that certainly in these cases, their courage doesn't exist without danger. And I would like to add that Cedar Lane, I'd like to add you to this list, because your decision to provide sanctuary for Rosa was a very courageous decision in the face of mounting pressure from immigration enforcement. Yet now, all of us here online today in this community and in this country are heading into a pretty significant time of unknown in the coming weeks. There will be UU congregations all across this country who are preparing for possible upheaval in the streets, on the streets that house their religious facilities. I don't anticipate riots or marches down the streets of Cedar Lane or Hunter Mill, the street out in front of UUCF, anytime in the near future. But of course, in these days, anything is possible. What is entirely possible is that we will somehow be called on not to just make decisions about the level of risk we are willing to take, but the actions of courage we will make in the face of danger. As many of you have heard, sometimes the job of ministry is to comfort the afflicted, and at other times it's to afflict the comfortable. I know very few people right now who are feeling comfortable. But I also know that part of my job and the job of a UU minister right now is to help prepare us for all kinds of possibilities. I firmly and fervently hope that things will go well and settle down after the election, for that is what I pray. However, I also feel compelled to ask, what will we do if any of our congregations will be needed for sanctuary, protection, or action as events unfold? Will some of us who never thought we would be in the streets in DC go if the nation needs willing souls to take to the streets? Will we be present at the polls to provide safety for those coming to vote in a free and fair election if the polls are threatened with intimidation or fear? Or, of course, at this point in this wild year of 2020, your guess is as good as mine about any of these things. I hope that our democracy is strong and can withstand the assault it is now taking. I hope that cooler heads will prevail and we will be touched by the better angels of our nature. I hope that we as a country will find a path forward to heal our wounds and move on to focusing on eliminating this virus. And yet, we must also prepare ourselves grounded in this tradition and the calling of this faith to help create a heaven here on earth, to be steeped in deeds, not creeds, and to recognize that Unitarian Universalism teaches us that the work of social justice, the work of creating beloved community, is the deeply, deeply spiritual center of this faith. Courage does not exist without danger, and these are difficult and dangerous times. There will again be a time and place to comfort us all. But in the meantime, let us be ready to answer this important question. How courageous are we ready to be? May that be so, and amen.
Before we close, there are some people that we would like to thank, all of those who helped make today's service possible. Thank you to the Reverend David Miller, the Reverend Abi Janamanchi, Dana Edwards, the intern minister at Cedar Lane, Jared Wilson, worship associate, the many musicians, including the virtual children's choir, Jenny Lynn Moyer, Dr. Jasmine Lee, Kevin Miller, the Cedar Lane choir and quartet, and the Fairfax musicians who performed Flame. Thank you to the members of our AV and visual arts teams, Barb Thompson, Mike Morse, Michael McCrickard, Don Woodruff, Todd Chernikoff, and Rebecca Knocktrieb. And thank you to our pastoral visitors and membership volunteers and staff who've been active in the chat.
Our benediction today comes from the words of Wayne Arneson, titled "Take Courage, Friends." I'm sure some of you have heard this before. Take courage, friends. The way is often hard, the path is never clear, and the stakes are very high. Take courage, for deep down there is another truth. You are not alone. Amen, and thank you so much for letting me join you today. It was such a pleasure.
I'm gonna keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Never turning back. Never turning back. Gonna keep on moving proudly. Gonna keep on singing loudly. Keep on singing loudly. Keep on singing loudly. Never turning back. Never turning back. Gonna keep on loving boldly. Keep on holding freedom. Keep on holding freedom. Keep on holding freedom. Never turning back. Never turning back. Gonna keep on